The MCU is well known for giving many Easter eggs and cheeky nods to its massive fanbase, but there were some character introductions and references that even the biggest Marvel fan might have missed. From subtle references in the background to outright in-your-face introductions, some characters in the MCU can still go unnoticed. While we all know Iron Man and Captain America, there are some seriously powerful superheroes and villains that have been introduced within the MCU that you might not have noticed. This includes a hero more powerful than Captain Marvel, a whole different original team, and one of the biggest villains in Marvel history. While some of these characters may just be winks to the audience and meant to be nothing more, Marvel are known for playing the long game, with some of these characters potentially shaping the entire future of the MCU for years to come. In this video, we will explore some of the most intriguing characters introduced and see what part they could play in potentially the very near future.
Okay, what do we got here?
When the character of Miles Morales was created as an alternative Spider-Man in 2011, the man of many talents Donald Glover quickly tweeted that he would like to play Spider-Man. What followed was a huge online campaign championing Glover as Spider-Man. Unfortunately, it never happened, but we did get to see Glover inside the MCU when he cameoed as career criminal Aaron Davis, who, as fans of the comics or animated movie Into the Spider-Verse would know, is also Spidey's foe. Double points if you know, it's the Prowler. While this is a subtle cameo in itself, Davis also makes reference to his nephew. While he didn't mention him by name, we know that he is referring to one Miles Morales, indicating that there is, or at least will be, another Spider-Man out there. If that wasn't enough of a hint, in a deleted scene, we see Davis on the phone to his nephew where he calls him Miles. While it hasn't been confirmed whether Miles will play a big part in the future of the MCU, with the popularity of both the character and Spider-Verse, it feels like an inevitability that one day Miles will make a physical appearance, and we might even get to see Glover suit up as the Prowler. While we may know Carol Danvers as Captain Marvel in the MCU, she is not the first person to hold that title, and is not even the first woman to go by that moniker. That honor goes to Monica Rambeau, who, like Carol Danvers, is exposed to an alien energy that gives the ability to manipulate and change into any form of radiation. Created in 1982, she initially went by Captain Marvel until she eventually settled on the codename Spectrum, and eventually leads the Avengers. To top that all off, she actually was a captain in the New Orleans Harbor Patrol. With such strong ties to Captain Marvel, it might come as no surprise that she was secretly introduced in the 2019 movie, but she is a far cry from the comic book superhero, appearing as the child of Danvers' friend, Maria Rambeau. This feels like almost a perfect setup for her to play a big part in the MCU going forward, with the events of Captain Marvel taking place 25 years before Endgame, making her an adult now. So it might not be too long till we see another Captain Marvel amongst the Avengers. While the last two introductions of characters in the MCU might have been not so subtle, there are some that if you blink, you'll miss them. An Easter egg in Iron Man 2 might have been more important than initially meets the eye. As Tony Stark is debriefed by S.H.I.E.L.D., eagle-eyed fans might have noticed a digital map in the background with the locations of potential people of interest. But one of the locations seems stranger than the rest, with a marker lying in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean and potentially being the home of arguably one of the most important Marvel superheroes not to feature in their own movie, Namor. For anyone not familiar with Namor, he is Marvel's underwater superhero, being the mutant son of a human sea captain and an Atlantis princess, and possesses superhero strength and, unsurprisingly, aquatic abilities. He has served with the Avengers, the X-Men, and the Fantastic Four, and is one of Marvel's greatest heroes, making a solo movie surely a sure thing. But like fish in the ocean, there's a catch. The ownership of the rights are disputed. Universal acquired the movie rights for Namor in the 90s, but Kevin Feige claimed that the rights are back at Disney, but old contracts have kept Namor from progressing. While it is unclear how tangled up rights to Namor are, fans gave some credence to Feige's words after what some see as an Easter egg in Endgame, with Okoye referencing underwater earthquakes possibly caused by Namor and his people.
It's an earthquake under the ocean.
But I wouldn't hold my breath. Like Carol Danvers, there are other character names that used to belong to others in the MCU. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 hosted a huge host of cameos, including the original Guardians of the Galaxy. That's right, although it's hard to imagine anyone else before Star-Lord and co. were protecting the galaxy, there were another bunch of superheroes. We can see them in their current glory at the end of Volume 2 during Yondu's funeral, where we see both iterations of Starhawk, played by Sylvester Stallone and Michelle Yeoh respectively, Miley Cyrus as Mainframe, as well as other members Charlie 27 and Martin X. Even Yondu himself was a part of the original crew. But wait, that isn't the only major cameo to happen in Guardians of the Galaxy. Another huge comic book figure appeared in a more subtle and bizarre fashion with references to Adam Warlock. Warlock is an artificially created human with superhero strength, flight, and magic powers, just to name a few, and is one of the most powerful beings in the Marvel Universe, which makes it strange that he is yet to make a physical appearance in the MCU. In the first Guardians, we see a cocoon in the Collector's display, believed to hold Warlock. We see the cocoon again at the end of Volume 2, and he is even referred to by name as Adam. While it is unclear what the future holds for these characters, it is hard to believe that it's the last we have seen of them in the MCU, with a potential appearance in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 feeling likely. While Marvel will try and have you forget one of their first movies in the MCU, The Incredible Hulk, there are a few hidden characters that you may not know about or just not remember. One of the most noticeable is the character Matias Cho, played by Silicon Valley's Martin Starr. Cho is one of the most intelligent heroes in the MCU and is the Hulk in Totally Awesome Hulk. His appearances in The Incredible Hulk is fleeting, however, and you can be forgiven for not remembering it, as it turns out Cho is the computer nerd that Bruce Banner gives his pizza to. Yeah, I didn't remember that either. It seems unlikely that we will see Cho again anytime soon, as we are yet to see another standalone Hulk film, and Starr was recast as Peter Parker's dry-witted teacher Mr. Harrington in Spider-Man Homecoming and Far From Home. But with the inclusion of Cho's mother in Avengers Age of Ultron, there may still be a future for the Cho family after all. The character of the Mandarin is one of the most controversial within the MCU, and still gets blood boiling to this day. When Ben Kingsley was cast as the Mandarin in Iron Man 3, fans got very excited, but that excitement was extinguished when it turns out the Mandarin was an actor and puppet for the movie's real villain, Aldrich Killian. This twist left fans furious, and Marvel, in an effort to appease them, quickly released a short All Hail the King, which alluded to a real Mandarin out there in the shadows. Nothing seemed to come of it though, and fans were starting to get itchy feet, until finally, the real Mandarin was revealed to be the villain in the upcoming MCU movie Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. To sweeten the deal, it was also revealed he would be played by Hong Kong movie legend Tony Leung. While we may never see him square up against Iron Man, fans can take solace in the fact that we will get to see the real Mandarin very soon, unless they decide to add a twist again. After Disney bought out Fox in one of the biggest deals in history, Marvel fans could only think of one thing. When would the X-Men and Fantastic Four be introduced into the MCU? While X-Men's Quicksilver has made an appearance in the MCU, you would be easily forgiven for not knowing that the Human Torch made an appearance. Well, technically he made an appearance. The Human Torch shows up in Captain America: The First Avenger. And no, we're not talking about Chris Evans. At the beginning of the movie at the Stark Expo, we can see the Human Torch on display. In the comics, the Human Torch was an android similar to Vision, and as you can probably guess, he was engulfed in flames, hence why he is on display at the exhibit. Here's hoping we get to see the other Human Torch alongside the Fantastic Four in the MCU in the not-too-distant future. The Sinister Six has a constantly rotating lineup, and while we are yet to see the full roster, the seeds have been sown for them to possibly appear in the third Marvel Spider-Man movie. After the cliffhanger of Far From Home with the reveal of Spider-Man's identity, Spidey will very likely have a target on his back, with him pissing off Vulture, Mysterio, and Electro, to name just a few. The Sinister Six was also referenced at the end of Spider-Man Homecoming with Adrian Toomes, the Vulture, seeing Michael Mando's Mac Gargan in jail. If that name doesn't sound familiar, it might be because he has a more famous alter ego, the Scorpion. The filmmakers did not try to hide this Easter egg, with a scorpion tattoo blazoned on his neck, and Gargan even references he has friends on the outside. Now I wonder what he could mean. You might have thought that Thanos was powerful, but he can't hold a candle to the Living Tribunal. The Living Tribunal is one of the most powerful characters in Marvel lore. With his godlike powers and existing across every dimension, it's easy to see why, It's not like he's small, he sounds pretty big. Like Stan Lee and the Watchers, it is believed he is currently watching over the events of the MCU. This was confirmed in Doctor Strange in the scene where Morrow brandishes the staff of the Living Tribunal, which holds some of the interdimensional beings' power. While we are yet to see the Tribunal make an appearance, as the MCU continues to expand into the cosmic realm, it feels like it's only a matter of time. With their expansion into the cosmic realm with the upcoming The Eternals movie, Marvel is continuing to show the vast amounts of myth that make up the worlds. While the Eternals aren't as well known outside of top Marvel fans, people may be more familiar with some of the mythology that is showcased within the comic book series, such as the Celestials. Within Marvel lore, the Celestials are space gods who brought life to the universe, but are also not afraid to end it by destroying entire worlds. Sounds like something hard to forget, right? Well, you may have not realized it, but they have already made an appearance. In Guardians of the Galaxy, the location of the Mos Eisley-esque nowhere is actually the head of a Celestial. I mean, that shows you the sheer size of one of these beings. We've already seen one in action where the Collector explains the nature of the Infinity Stones to the Guardians, and we see one doing what Celestials do, destroying worlds and killing entire populations. Like you do. Dragons, like space gods, are apparently even easier to miss. In a blink and you miss it moment in Iron Man 3, as Tony cruises across the city, we see a nice Easter egg with a poster of the alliterative villain Fin Fang Foom, one of Iron Man's greatest villains. Sadly, it is unlikely we will ever see more than just that. What's your favorite hidden character, and which one would you want to see more of? Are there any that we missed out on? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. Remember, don't forget to subscribe to Screen Rant for more of this amazing content, and we'll see you next time.